Well, James Gunn's new Superman movie has had some test screenings recently, and reactions have been mixed. This is the big relaunch of DC in film that the studio is banking on to build a new cinematic universe, basically. And so far, it doesn't appear as if there's an enormous amount to shout about. This article is from MovieWeb. Superman gets conflicting test screening reactions, leaving DC fans not knowing what to think. It says, James Gunn's Superman is one of the most anticipated movies of 2025, with David Corenswet being the latest actor to portray the Man of Steel on the big screen. Most DC fans, aside from the Zack Snyder diehards, are desperate for Superman to be a hit and revitalise the DC universe on the big screen after years of divisive movies. The first test screening of James Gunn's latest film have already happened, with the director confirming that some minor reshoots will be taking place before its theatrical release on July 11th, 2026. Obviously, that's a typo. It's supposed to be 2025. But fans are desperate to know what the first test audiences are saying about the film. 2 reports have been released supposedly quoting the test screening viewers, and the reactions couldn't be more juxtaposed. Okay, let's read on. The first report comes via insider Jeff Snyder. On his The Hot Mic podcast, Snyder revealed that one of his sources had nothing but bad things to say about Superman after the test screenings. So this is the quote. I got a call from my best source after that newsletter, Snyder said, having previously written a positive report about Superman. He said, great newsletter tonight. You got one thing wrong, and that's about Superman, which I continue to hear is terrible. So then, on the flip side, we have this contrasting opinion. That news may come as a dagger to the heart for those who are optimistic about Superman successfully rebooting the DCU on the big screen. But not all hope is lost. Speaking on the John Campea show, the eponymous host gave a juxtaposing report about the first reactions to Superman's test screenings. And he says, I will come out and say the exact opposite, Campea said in reference to Snyder's report. I've heard Superman's tremendously good. Well, it's worth mentioning, of course, that we really have to take all of these kinds of reports with a pinch of salt. Nothing is confirmed at this point. But here's another source on the matter from Game Rant. Superman test screening reactions draw comparisons to one of the most well-received DCEU movies. Superman is coming out in 4 months, and its test screening reports are promising. The anticipated DC tentpole has been compared to one of the most successful movies from the now-defunct DC Extended Universe, DCEU. James Gunn's first movie for the DC Universe is David Corenswet's Superman. Gunn and Peter Safran, the co-chairman and co-CEOs of DC Studios, decided to end DCEU to have a full reboot of DC's cinematic universe. The film has high expectations because Gunn is the creative force behind it, both as director and writer. The filmmaker has a successful track record with superhero franchises, including Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and DC's The Suicide Squad. Based on the reports, Gunn's Superman is in line with his superpowered flicks of the past. Okay. It says the recent test screenings of Gunn's Superman have received positive reviews. Portuguese fan site DC Depreciao described the early reaction in a post on X. The tone is closer to the first Wonder Woman film and the first Guardians of the Galaxy. This feedback is promising since both films were major critical and commercial successes. Wonder Woman 2017, directed by Patty Jenkins and starring Gal Gadot, received 93% ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Gal Gadot's performance received praise, with many saying she was perfect for the role because she effectively portrayed Wonder Woman as an epitome of female empowerment. The movie made $103 million on its opening weekend and $822 million worldwide. It was the first female-led superhero movie in the modern era to dominate the box office. Due to its success, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman scored a sequel and was deemed one of the best DCEU films. The Guardians of the Galaxy 2014 was also directed by Gunn, and it was just as successful. It has a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, made $94.3 million on its opening weekend, and earned a total of $773 million worldwide. The film influenced MCU films to add more humor, vibrant visuals, and retro music at the time as well. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of Wonder Woman. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie or anything. It was entertaining. And I think Gal Gadot was very good in that role. As a period superhero movie, it was kind of like the DCEU's answer to Captain America, the First Avenger. But is this good news overall to compare the new Superman movie to the likes of the Guardians of the Galaxy or Wonder Woman? I mean, yeah, they were all right. I think the first Guardians movie is the best one in that trilogy. But to be fair, on the point about Wonder Woman, was it by itself a great and really strong superhero movie, or was it just better, relatively speaking, to the other DCEU movies at the time? I think that's worth considering, because I didn't really think that Wonder Woman movie was as good as a lot of the movies that were coming out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the time. So, you know, I think in that respect, we do have to question whether these two movies are good points of comparison for this new upcoming Superman movie. Because, you know, as entertaining enough as those movies were by themselves, I don't think they represent an extremely high bar even for their own franchises. And I don't think they represent an extremely high bar for superhero movies in general. They're not a low bar. Guardians 1 and Wonder Woman were sort of upper mid-range kind of superhero movies, right? But this new Superman film, I think because it's launching the new DCU, it really needs to be something very special in its own right. And it has to be more unique, you know. It's got to be bringing something new to the table, because there's a huge weight of expectations for this film. So I think it needs to be more on the scale of, you know, the likes of an Avengers Infinity War or a Dark Knight in terms of quality and significance. I mean, for starters, it's got to be a must-see in the cinema. And, you know, you'd have to ask the question, was Wonder Woman a must-see in the cinema? Was Guardians of the Galaxy 1 a must-see? Well, for me, I went to see Infinity War and I went to see The Dark Knight in the cinema, but I didn't go to see Wonder Woman or Guardians of the Galaxy 1 in the cinema. Maybe that's just me. So there you go. That's what we've got so far on the test screenings and reactions for this new James Gunn Superman movie starring David Corenswet as Clark Kent Superman. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of this? What are your expectations for this new Superman movie coming out in just a few months? Thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more. Please share this video. Take care, guys, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.